So here is a quick tutorial, and I hope you guys can see the whole thing of how to start filling in part one of the graphic organizer for your narrative writing assignment. So clearly here the directions are asking you to choose a topic. So you can either set your narrative to what happened before the story in the Cask of Amontillado or after, or you can write about what happens after the original resolution of the Cask of Amontillado. And then you're going to complete the graphic organizer by adding details to each section so that you're planning the details for your narrative essay. Actually, with this, we're going to do it differently. We're not going to write an entire narrative paper for the sake of time. So we have decided in the English department for English 3 that you all will just write an intro paragraph and maybe a conclusion if you feel a little fancy. But you're still going to use this graphic organizer to plan out your introductory paragraph to the narrative. So I'm going to walk you through how you can think about that. I am going to choose what happens before the story, the Cask of Amontillado. So remember in the beginning, the narrator, which we assume to be Montresor, talks about how Fortunato has, this is 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had borne as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult. I'm going to go before that. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to make up, and you are making this up. It's right, because that's what a narrative is. It's a story that you tell or that you've kind of made up. I'm going to make up what I think happened before Montresor was so offended by something Fortunato has said or done. And so the beginning of that, I will start by saying, and I'll think a moment here, so bear with me. Montresor and Fortunato have been friends since college, right? And then I can say a little bit more. This is all in my intro. And you can keep going here, right? If you want to explore a little bit more, some scenarios in your head that you can explore a little bit more. So do you see how this is going, right? And then we're going to go up. I'm going to go to the middle. So what happens in the middle could be where you are adding dialogue between the two, how they are interacting. And this is all one paragraph, so, or two. But we're just in the planning stages. This is just a blueprint, so we really don't have to worry about the length of it because we know it's not going to be a full length narrative essay. So the middle of this introductory paragraph, now I have set kind of like the stage of perhaps why at the beginning of the Cask of Amontillado, they, or at least Montresor, believed that Fortunato had wronged him. So this is just one scenario of all of the built up tension that was there between the friends. So in the middle, you can add a, what happens in the middle of the intro. So perhaps a, okay. Then to build up to the part in which the narrator Montresor says those 1,000 injuries, here you can say Fortunato and let's just make sure we are saving as we go. And the goal here is not for me to fill out the entire thing, but just to give you guys some ideas, right? And this is like the revised version of it. Okay, and then you want to think about how does this end the paragraph? Does it end with leading, it should end with leading up into the part, the very beginning of the very first line of the Cask of Amontillado. So, Montresor Montresor devises a plan to deal with his insensitive friend once and for all. And then we can just fill out the rest of the 2 boxes. But this is just an example of how it could go and how you can begin to think about filling it out. And we will talk about this more in our synchronous class today. So I will see you pretty soon.